Good evening, ma'am.
Very good evening, all.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
All right, so connecting with all of you after a long time. How you have been? Are no answers only? Itne quiet.
We are good, ma'am. How are you?
I am also good. Perfect. Why is Devansh not attending classes? Any idea? All right, so who amongst you saw the movie that I sent? The video that I shared in the group? Did you get a chance to go through it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your
Yes.
hands who have seen this. Okay, Srishti has seen. Who else? Namika, Prachi, Akriti, Vishakha, Ruchi. Didn't get
Yes.
a chance.
No, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So let's start with all of you, right? Who have seen this movie? Just want to share. You have to share with me what is it that you understood from this video. So who wants to start? Let's start alphabetically. That would work better, right? So let's start with Namika. You're the only A in the class, except me. No, Adiricha and Akriti is also there. All right, Akriti, let's start with you. You have seen the movie, na?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in that movie, it shows that there is so much diversity in the organization, and all different type of diversity help the organization in different ways,
Hmm.
and also provide equity among them, means give them that much which needed.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Adiricha, you didn't see the movie, right?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have seen the video, a movie, and I
Hmm.
realized that uh,
You realize that silence is golden. That's why we are not able to hear you. Okay, some problem in our mic. Anamika?
ma'am,
Adiricha, your voice is coming and going.
sorry,
So,
ma'am.
yeah, we're not able to hear you.
So I personally felt that the video wanted to give us this message that diversity does not only mean that you have to have people from all different cultures. It is important to give each one of them equal opportunity. I remember that one ladder scene where the tree was there and there were two different persons on the either sides of the tree. So there was diversity, but one person was given like a higher ladder, and the other was given a lower ladder. So in that case, even if the organization has different people, like even if it says to support diversity, it does not actually support diversity, because not every employee had the equal opportunity. So that I think, I mean,
Right.
diversity, the meaning of diversity is like actually different in the terms of organization.
Okay, good. Srishti?
Yes, ma'am. I understand. I get I got to understand by this video, the very thing for me was the difference between equity and equality. I just got to know the difference. What is the main difference between equity and equality? And that picture shows by the latter one. The Anamika mentioned, like in equity, latter one was given much opportunity or facility than other, but in equality, both were similar. And how inclusion help organization or yes, how inclusion help any organization to get diverse employees within the organization. And the diversity management was the best part of the video, how the diversity management handle all the values and all the uh, all others communities values, and how they just try to manage uh, others communities value and their good, their want in organization in equal ways. So that was the game for me with the video.
Very nice, very good. Who else saw that?
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Prachi.
um, yes, ma'am. So, according to me, when I saw the video, it talked about three things mainly: diversity, equity, and inclusion. And yeah, as Shrishti said, that it talked about the difference between equality and equity. That was something new for me as well. And it according to me, that video also talked about diversity management, that it is something very important for an organization, and inclusion as well. And because by including different people of different diversity, their skills helps the organization for a better productivity.
Correct. Yep. All right. Very well explained. Good. Hima, did you see the movie? Do you want to share something about what did you interpret?
Ma'am, I have seen that different people have different ideas and different cultures. We have to give all them same opportunities to all the people in equal.
Equal opportunity. Yeah, very nice. Very good.
e-
Yeah.
to,
So, see, the basic purpose of showing that video and giving you an understanding of what diversity, what inclusion, and what equity and equality is, that you have understood it basically. So, my question now to all of you is, you are all around 18, right? Your age you have already crossed, you are all adults, right? So, how many of you feel included in the society? Or do you think that there is an inclusion involved? Whether you are studying in a college, whether you are attending this course, or you are a part of an organization, how many of you feel completely included? Or you feel that you have got equal opportunity?
There could be another mean, like if we want to include ourselves in society or not. Means
No,
sometimes
that's a
people
different
say
thing.
like
See, that's
that.
then your choice. If you want to get included in something, that's your choice. So that means you have a freedom to choose something. My question is, do you feel included? Or do you
Yes,
feel as a very integral part of the society, whether it's in college, organization, society in general?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Srishti feels yes. All right. Prachi,
yes, ma'am.
Ruchi also.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hima, difficult question, right?
yeah, yes, ma'am.
Why difficult? You don't feel included?
Uh, like depends on position.
Yeah,
Sometimes I feel, sometimes not.
very good. Yes, very important to feel that way. Yeah, Namika, your voice is not reaching us. No, still not. Vishaka,
Ma'am, sometimes I also feel that I'm included, but sometimes it's not.
Okay. Akriti?
Yes, ma'am, it is same for me. Sometimes included, sometimes not.
Okay. Yes, Anamika. No, your voice is not coming. I think some problem in the mic. Okay, so whosoever does not feel included, what is the reason you don't feel included? What are the times when you have felt?
मैम लाइक इन आवर कॉलेज, मतलब जब हम पढ़ रहे थे, अभी तो मेरी पढ़ाई कंप्लीट हो गई, तो जैसे कि जो हमारे टीचर्स होते थे हेड ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट, वो जो कि बहुत ब्रिलियंट या बहुत तेज स्टूडेंट्स हैं, उन पे ज्यादा ध्यान देते थे इन कंपैरिजन जो एवरेज या मतलब थोड़े बिलो स्टूडेंट्स हैं,
Very
इस
good.
वजह से।
Yeah, very
और
good
मतलब
example.
कि जैसे कि जो मतलब बहुत ज्यादा तेज और ब्रिलियंट स्टूडेंट्स हैं, उन्हीं को वो अपॉर्चुनिटी देने की कोशिश करते थे हर चीज में इन्वॉल्व, बल्कि हम लोग को उतना थोड़ा सा कि इन सब चीजों से दूर रखते थे।
Yeah, very true. Very good example. Yeah. Yes, Ima? When do
It's
you not feel included?
like same, related to somewhat same, ma'am, but in office like that. But we have different ideas for different works. But sometimes we can't mingle, or some restrictions will be there, like so.
What restrictions do you feel? What are those restrictions?
We are not getting opportunity what we want to express, or something like that. I'm not able to say.
Okay. It's okay. Take your time, comprehend, and then say it's okay. Yeah. Okay, Namika, your mic is back. You can talk now. No, it's still not working. What you can do is you can write in the chat. I think till the time mic doesn't work, that works. All from various backgrounds, right? Very diverse. Some of you are maybe Hindu, some of you are not Hindu, some of you are from different religions, some of you follow different religion, different demographic regions, geographies, values, culture, so many things different, right? Different kind of caste and creed we belong to, right? Some of you may be Punjabi, some of you Brahmin, some non-Hindus, some Hindus. So different kind of things are attached to us. And that's what makes us a beautiful country, that we are so diverse, yet still we are able to create a country out of it, which is India. Right? But do you think that everybody who is a part of society feels included? Like, some of you said that in college also, it's a very typical example that we see people who are able to get good marks, people who are generally good or knowledgeable students, which comes across in front of teachers, they get more opportunities rather than people who are in fact, from my own personal views, as a teacher or as a faculty, people who are weak should get more opportunity than the people who are already brilliant, right? But some people do not really feel that way, right? And that's a very peculiar reason why diversity and inclusion is a very important subject to talk about, right? And why are we including in HR? Any idea about that? Why do you think diversity, inclusion, and equity should be talked about by HR managers or HR professionals?
मैम लाइक इन आवर कॉलेज दिस मतलब कि अपॉर्चुनिटी किसी को मिलती थी, किसी को नहीं, तो एज अ एचआर मतलब ये हमारा मतलब ड्यूटी है कि हम जितने भी हमारे अंडर वर्कर्स हैं, हम सबको इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी दें कि वो अपनी क्रिएटिवनेस या अपनी मतलब टैलेंट को चीज में दिखा सकें।
Correct. So how do you show how people would be able to express their talent? What are
मैम
the
बाय
ways
गिविंग
that
देम
HR?
अपॉर्चुनिटी।
Yeah, but why will you give somebody an opportunity? On what basis will you give them an opportunity?
मैम मतलब कि उनके स्किल्स और उनके जैसे कि नॉलेज को देख के।
Correct. So we will see their ability, their skills, and their knowledge, right? These are the three things which makes that, this is the merit of the person, through which we actually see whether this person is suitable for a job or for any position in the organization, right? So now, have you seen ever since your educational system, maybe from start of your school or college, did you see any disabled people part of the system?
No,
Very,
ma'am.
very few, like one or two.
Correct.
Yes,
And
ma'am, very few.
right. And how about people who are transgender, people who are born as units, who are of third
No, ma'am.
gender?
No,
Ever?
ma'am. Mostly people don't tell others like they are transgender or
Correct. And
so.
that is the reason why they are not even given an opportunity to study in a school or maybe in a
Hmm.
college, maybe in universities, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That means that inclusion is not there. That means we understand that there is a diversity. These are the people who are available. These are the people who are born. These are the people who are always there and are near and dear ones. But then these people are not given equal opportunities. That means the inclusion is not there. The similar things happen in the organizations. Right. In organization, HR managers or professionals have to make sure completely at every point in time that when we are talking about equal opportunities as a policy in the organization, that policy should be implemented or to be put in action in a manner that everybody should get an opportunity on the basis purely of their competencies, skills, knowledge, and ability. Nothing more than that, right? You cannot decide that person's caste will be, cannot decide that this person will get a top job or not. A person's creed or racial energies will not really decide that what are the things that we are going to give them an opportunity in the organization. So these are the summary of topics that we are going to talk about in today's class, which is definition of diversity, norms, understanding workplace inclusion, difference between the two, what can companies do to promote D&EI culture, and best practices. Right? So some of the examples, and then there would be a case study along with this that you will have to solve and then share. That is immediately after this class, I'll share that case study, and then tomorrow we will discuss that case study in the class. So there is a very beautiful quote which is said by J.K. Rowling, which says that indifference and neglect often do much more damage than the outright dislike. You can show your dislike to somebody, but that will not do that much of a harm till the time you are showing that much of neglect or indifference to a person, and then that can create a lifelong problems, insecurities, fear, or maybe a permanent damage to a person, and that person's confidence can go to a lowest level. So what is diversity? As you already know, you had spoken about. So diversity is a term used for workplace composition of employees with varying characteristics. These characteristics differentiate groups and people from one another. So what can be these types of diversity? Can be race. You understand race? What is race?
Ma'am, color.
Okay. Gender. What are the genders?
Male, female, and transgender.
Right. So male, female, and the third gender, which can be anything, transgender or anybody else. Ethnicity?
And culture.
No, ethnicity is not culture.
Ma'am, caste.
Yeah, ethnicity would be more suitable for caste. Age, you all know. Physical abilities, whether you are disabled, whether there is a mental health problem, or the person is physically fit to do the job. Language, we understand that. Culture, what is cultural orientation of people?
The surrounding of anyone, like it could
What
be
kind of
anything.
surroundings?
Like we also include language in culture, or the how we wear our clothes. It all culture also include this, and how yes, ma'am, the language, the dress, or the way of speaking, or
Or
Religion.
Namika is saying practices followed in the environment. Yes, that is also culture, very important. And what are these practices? Like, Srishti is saying maybe the way we wear clothes. So, totally different kind of cultural background people can wear different clothes. Then, food habits. The choices of foods can actually differentiate from culture to culture. So these are the things which makes culture a very different kind of a thing, which can actually put across, especially when it comes to organization or educational institution or any such institution for that matter, where people have to gather together and they have to form a group together. That's where a lot of problems start coming in because of the differentiation of cultures of people. Right? We generally comment without even knowing whether we are hurting somebody's emotions or we are hurting somebody's cultural orientation by commenting on the food habits, the way they eat, the way they wear clothes. Maybe we should tell somebody to use the character ठीक नहीं है because she or he wears different kind of clothing altogether. So these are the things which actually become a part of the culture of the organization if you are actually bringing in those differentiations along with you to an equal opportunity employment. Religion, again we all know different kind of religious belief we can have. What is the veteran status? So veteran status generally talk about people who are in defense services and people who are not. So civil society and people then who are working with government sector, especially in terms of army, navy, and all those things. So these people are generally given a veteran status. Little specialized services are being offered to them. Sexual orientation. People who are maybe preferring one gender, people can prefer two genders. So bisexual, heterosexual, and homosexuals can be general sexual orientation that people can have. Education, we all know what kind of educational background, top grade institute, lower grade institute. So these grading system has also included that unequal opportunities to the people. And nationality. Right? So different nationalities have different kind of problems that can come when we talk about diversity and inclusion. Now, what should an inclusive workforce should look like? Generally, when we talk about an organization should be a part of or should have a complete inclusion and should not be looking into all these things, that what is the gender of the person, what education, what military service, thinking or personality styles, language, race, ethnicity, office, sexual orientation, disability, age, background. These should not create an impact on the skills and ability of the person and the way we make choices as an HR in terms of bringing them into an organization. Right? So, or not, whether their sexual orientation or agility. Yeah, did my voice went in between?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, how much did you hear? How much I have to repeat? From which part?
Ma'am,
Okay, so
you
we are
were,
talking about inclusive workforce, right? So inclusive
yes, ma'am.
workforce is basically people from all these things, all these backgrounds, all these things. It should not matter when you are entering somebody into an organization. You should not be thinking about what background, what family status, what age, what disability, what sexual orientation. Nothing at all should matter. The only thing that should matter is their skills to perform the job, and their educational qualification should meet the criteria. If they are graduate, they are postgraduate, it should not matter from which institute and which should not. So people who deliberately write in their job descriptions also that they are actually preferring women only for the jobs are actually creating a problem for this inclusive workforce, no matter what kind of organization it is. People who specifically mention that only A grade institute like IIMs and IITs or auxiliaries should only be part of the organization are unknowingly actually creating a basis where they are forming a non-inclusive workforce, right? So that is a very important thing that as an HR we should be aware about, that knowingly, unknowingly we should not be creating anything in organization which can create problems. So before we actually talk about inclusion, I want to talk about the difference between equity and equality. So what do you feel what equity is and what equality is?
Ma'am, may
What
I?
kind of equal opportunities should be given? Yeah, please carry on. Who wants to talk?
Equality means people will be given same base or same opportunity to develop themselves, but equity means depending upon their need they will be given opportunities or the help, like we can talk about in a class. Just suppose like everyone is equal in the class, everyone is given equal opportunity to study, but if there is any weak student, then that student will be given more attention by the teacher. That will be a equity, so that that student in can become much better than other students, and or can cross that weak line to better line.
Okay. Anybody else who wants to share?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, equality is like see everyone as equal, and equity means helping those who needed.
Very good. Ruchi is not talking. Working in an organization, and you can have various examples of all these things. So suppose all of you are here, yeah, and I give you an equal opportunity, right? That means I give you each a chocolate to eat. Correct? So that's what? That's equality, right? But then some of you might have, I mean, I'm not saying that you should have, but maybe, one or two may have diabetes or some problem that they don't like sugar. Do you think that would be a good thing to do for them?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So what should equity say?
Ma'am, equity says that what they want they give us. मतलब कि अगर वो डायबिटीज है उनको तो उनके लिए वो हार्मफुल है तो हमें वो नहीं देना चाहिए.
Correct. So equity means that we should provide the opportunities, or we should provide the things that is needed by the person. Correct. We can all form equality in a good measures. Equality generally is taken as a very good example in the society, but is equality solving the problem in the organizations or in society in general?
No,
It's not, right? And that is the reason why people talk about the percentage of reservations that we give to some strata in the society, maybe in colleges, in government jobs, and all those things, is being done purely because these people have not got equal opportunity for many, many years. So just to create that kind of an equity that all these jobs are available to them in maybe major proportions right now may not look really equal to people from general category, purely because they feel that their entire thing is not being taken care into the picture. Getting my point? Right? How many of you feel that reservations are good?
Ma'am, I feel the concept of reservation is good, but how it imposed in our society currently is not right. Like,
Forget
yes.
about. So that basically India has a major problem of the way we are being ruled by the government, right? That is a totally different thing altogether. But in general, leaving aside India altogether, what do you feel about reservation? Should there be a reservation for people who are from backward classes, scheduled class,
No,
scheduled tribes?
No, ma'am. There should be no reservation. They should be get job or anything according to their ability, according to their talent, not according to their reservation.
Okay, then फिर equity कैसे आया picture में? फिर तो equality की बात कर रहे हैं. How will equity come into picture?
Ma'am, I believe reservation is something which is given for a little time, and after that there should be removed. Reservation should be removed. But here, or let's forget about the India concept. Reservation, I believe it should be temporary, not permanently. Because if one is getting reservation on daily basis, then वो एक अपाहिज जैसा हो जाएगा कि वो उसको एक हेल्प मिल रही है डेली बेसिस पे, तो they won't be able to evolve their self and they will be lazy. So that is a that is a demerit of reservation.
Okay. That can be a demerit of reservation. All right. Anybody else who would believe in equality or equity? That means then you don't believe in equity. You all believe in equality more.
Ma'am, I think reservation should be given on financial basis, not on the basis of caste.
On financial basis. Yeah, that's a very
Yes,
good
ma'am.
idea. That's a very good thing that you have said. Yeah. Okay, Anamika is saying if a person has competencies and skills, there arises no question of reservation. Yeah, that's what you're saying. So equality you're talking about is perfectly fine. But what about people who have never given opportunity in the last 100 years? Do you think that they should be able to bring to that level where we can call that a fairness or judgment, right kind of justice being done to them? Or maybe for veteran services, people who work in military who are taking care of the country for so long, they also get a lot of reservations in organizations. They should also not be getting that. Anamika is talking so much, but we are not able to hear her.
Yes, ma'am, she's just struggling a lot. She wants to speak, but
Ma'am, reservations should be there, but according to the need. If we talk about the jobs, then generals also given a reservation, but according to their financial status.
Financial status is good, that if somebody is poor or rich, you can actually decide whether they need more opportunities or not. So that's one way of giving fairness, right? But other way of giving fairness is also reservation. So reservation maybe, because we have all seen it from a point of view in how it has been implemented in India. That is the reason we have again created a stereotype about it. But reservation in general actually is being designed purely to bring to the equity to the people who have never given an opportunity in the society for so long. So for example, maybe, let's take an example of these YSI classes that we are taking in HRM. So we have 12 students in this particular classroom, and maybe we have an opportunity to bring in one more person. Now this one more person, maybe we can bring in from a place where this person has never been given an opportunity to attend such classes. Can be from poor background, can be somebody whose financial status is not really that great, can be somebody, maybe a transgender, or somebody who's never been given an opportunity to study before, right? So it can be something. So do you think that would not be a good thing to do if we
Ma'am,
keep
that's
that
a
one
good thing to
place?
No, ma'am. What I think is, if one has joined this course, then of course he is in need of this course. So gender equality and equity, I don't think it's like it matters. Means he wants to study, he wants to learn. That's why he came here. So one should accept.
Yeah, that is obviously there. So reservation does not say that that person is not interested in something. Their interest obviously follows that. And if let's talk about this example, if there is a scheduled caste or backward class reservation which is being given to people, so from these people also only the toppers get an opportunity to work ahead or to get into good institutions and organizations, right? Not everybody gets a chance. So the merit thing also plays an important role for them. So amongst them also the toppers only get the opportunity to go to IIMs or IITs or good institutions after that, right? So that is there. But if you'll not have that equity, in place in schools or colleges, the same thing will keep happening, which is happening even now. There won't be any disabled students you will find in your own classrooms. Because that unfairness, that injustice that we have given to them, anything that we have given to them so far for so many years, they will not be able to. What is the population of disabled people in India? Any idea? Out of our 140 crores, 138 crores, how many people are? What percentage of people are disabled? Only disabled I'm talking about, physical disability.
Ma'am, 20, I think
Look into
20.
this. Do you have internet? Search it, find out.
Ma'am, I think 20%.
No, it would not be that high. I think it would be somewhere around 6%.
Only 6%, okay.
Yeah, only 6%. 6% is also large. Let me tell you the right figure.
2.1.
So total disabled population is just 2.1%.
Yes, ma'am.
Now
That is
even
very
this, yeah, that because ढंग से वो नहीं होता है. I mean the calculation is not being done. So it is approximately 6%, right? Total calculation. That's what we were talking about, because as a part of Sarthak Educational Trust, which is a disabled organization, as an advisory board member, I know we keep discussing these things. So approximately 5 to 6% is the total population in India which is disabled. Now among these disabled people, 5 to 6%, there would be 1 or 2% or maybe more than that who would not be from a very good financial status. Right, and that is the reason why they don't get equal opportunity to come into the schools and colleges. So do you think are we doing justice to them? Are we giving them equal opportunity?
No, ma'am.
Are we
No.
means, I'm not talking about you and me, I'm talking about in general, our policies, government
No, ma'am.
rules, all those things, right? So
No,
if
ma'am.
we start giving them a reservation that 1% of the entire seats in the schools and colleges will be given to disabled people, do you think it is going to create a huge amount of impact on us, people from general category?
No, ma'am.
Correct. So reservation actually talks about the similar thing, that if we have to bring equity in an organization or in an institution or in a society in general, then we need to give them fairness and justice. Also, other than obviously giving equality, which is equal opportunities. Correct. If they will not be able to get that opportunity of coming to fairness or coming to justice as other students or other people are, that means then equal opportunity will always be a miss. Now people who have never attended any school or colleges, do you think they will ever be able to get good jobs in the organization?
No, ma'am.
No,
So
ma'am.
that's the whole idea about equity and equality. That's the difference between that. So the reservations that in general we talk about in India is purely about this backward class and scheduled caste. Right? Again, like all of you said, the solution is that we should be giving opportunity to them on the basis of not their caste and creed, but maybe on their financial status, whether they are really poor or they are really secured in their life or not. Correct? That's the solution that can be implemented in India. This is how you are going to do in the organizations. So now in organizations, now come to a point. Let's talk about just Indian or corporate system or Indian organization system. Now people have never studied in school or colleges. Hardly any IIMs gives opportunity to disabled people. Then people with that minute mental disability obviously doesn't get chance. Physical pain is there, so mental pain we will not give. Then transgenders don't get an opportunity to come and study with us, because that's how the society has created their norms and things. Now, do you think that people who have never got given these opportunities are not really having those skills and competencies that we keep talking about?
They do have, ma'am.
Ma'am, but it's,
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
ma'am,
So
but
if-
it's not important that every single individual who is a transgender or who is a reserved category person would have that zeal of working or have that zeal of studying. Like even if I mean if I just elaborate an example of like school reservation, 1% reservation for the disabled student, it's not that every disabled student has that inner thing to, okay, I want to go to school or I want to study. If that one seat is given to some other person, like any other middle class person who actually has that
inner will of studying, that would be more fruitful to that middle class person than to that disabled person.
No, 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 no. Right of education doesn't say that there should be an equal opportunity or equity should be given to any student. I'm talking about very start of the education system, where the students cannot decide whether they want to study or not. So our own policy, our own act of right to education talks about that every person, every child should get an opportunity to attend a school, at
Yes.
least till the age of 14. Are
Yes,
we
ma'am.
implementing that? Zero. So many poor people you see on roads. Forget about poor people now because that can become their choice. They do not have financial things available. Let's come to the disabled people and transgender people who may have financial status which is available to them, but they do not have an opportunity because the rules and societies and policies is what we have created in a manner that they are not getting an opportunity, right? So now
Yes.
from very start of our education system, we are shunning them away from attending the school. They do not go to good colleges because they have not studied from proper school, right? So they won't get an opportunity to ever go into good colleges or apply for MAT or CAT or all those GE, JEE and other examinations. So that means you cannot even trust or you cannot check whether they have the ability skill to get into a good colleges or schools, right? In my entire education, from to post graduations, college, school, pre-primary school, I've never seen any disabled person in my classrooms ever. There was one maybe in class fourth or fifth, and then he again, because of some problems, he could not attend the school afterwards. I don't know the reasons. Obviously, at that point we were very young, right? So imagine the kind of society we are creating, imagine the kind of inclusion that we have created around us, and that is the reason you won't see. And now when we talk about Western countries, the system there is totally different because they have a proper reservation system for every criteria for everybody. They give equal opportunity of every child to come and study in the schools, whether they have disability, mental disability, they are from different kind of genders, so they do not have that kind of society, and that is the reason why people who leave India, especially people who have these kind of problems and have financial status, they don't want to come back to India purely because of these things, right? So why I am sharing, why we are discussing all these things, because as a human resource manager, your job is not just responsible for bringing in people in the organization. Your job will also involve getting to know about the background of the people as well, whether they have got equal opportunities in their life or not, or if that is the reason why many organizations have started talking about diversity and equity and inclusion suddenly, right? Last 5 years this topic has become very very important and integral part of the organization, but again majority of the organizations are not taking it that seriously. Why they are not taking it very seriously? Majority of the time diversity and inclusion ends at women and men, that's it. So only on the gender most of the organizations start bringing in that kind of thing. So if we do not have too many women working in our organization, let's bring more women in the organization. That's how they talk about diversity, right? And that's when we do wrong things. So that is the reason why it is important for all of us to understand the complete details about what actually diversity and inclusion is all about. Gender वाला तो topic रहा ही नहीं है, you know. So many women are getting good opportunities purely on their merit, purely on their skills, purely on their qualifications, right? And that will obviously improve because we have crossed all those times where we were not being given that opportunity to study, right? So now what is workplace inclusion? Now you have understood the background. So let's now understand what is workplace inclusion. The definition. You can all read it here. So it's a term that refers to workplace where people with different characteristics are included in company culture. They create a workplace which is welcoming and it supports all kind of employees who vary in characteristics, whether of age, gender, ethnicity, language, physical ability, culture, religion, education, sexual orientation, etc.
Yes, ma'am. protecting and accepting the differences of employees, ma'am,
Yes,
without any discrimination, and make employee feel that they are unbiased and fair, equal opportunities to perform and develop.
absolutely. Right? So, what is the meaning? That diversity is about differences, inclusion is about embracing those differences.
In our company also, ma'am, 2, 3 are there, those who are disabled, but they are, because of their skills only, they are working. We hired them.
Very good. So, hire from us also. We provide free services in Sarthak Educational Trust.
Yes, yes.
We give free training to disabled people, people who are from poor background, so you can hire from us as well. I'll share
Very
that.
nice to hear this, ma'am. Very nice to hear this, ma'am.
No, I didn't start this. Dr. Jitendra Agarwal started this. I'm just a part of this. Yeah.
Whichever is doing, but this is good for society. Yeah, in people also.
Right. So now let's go to the differences of both the things. So what basically diversity is all about and what inclusion is. So diversity is knowing about the differences, that we know that we are from different background, we are different culture, we are different races. Inclusion is more about embracing and giving them equal opportunities so that they become a part of the inclusive system. Then inclusion is a deliberate action aimed at creating a workplace cultures where all differences are welcomed, accepted and appreciated. Diversity is often used in the context of hiring diverse employees. But what do you do once you get people who are different into your company?
Kind of a get together where people will tell about their self, and different communities or different religion or caste people will tell about each other, and they both get to know about their customs and cultures, and by that the difference gap can be eliminated.
Okay.
It can also be like mixing different like people all together so that they can promote each other and they can appreciate each other's differences.
Yes, very true. So what can an organization do to make feel more inclusion in the company? How can you do? What are the practices that you can include? What are the policies you can create? What comes to your mind?
Ma'am, there are few policies, and sometimes we show them videos. We give them some examples also, like training also, and we show them some examples so that they can make up their mind.
So what are these training called?
Pardon, ma'am?
What are these trainings called? There's a specific name to these trainings.
Yes, this is inclusion diversity training, ma'am. This is called.
Okay, so you call them inclusion and diversity training. There are also gender sensitivity training which has been given to.
Gender bias training is different. That is for male, female, or only for gender bias.
No. Gender sensitivity training is including transgender and LGBTQ also in that, not just for male and female, right? So there is a act, maybe not act. I think Delhi government in Delhi NCR created a policy that every organization will conduct a gender sensitivity training every once in quarter. Right, so that is the kind of thing, and gender sensitivity is never about male and female. Please ensure, keep it in your mind, isko ghol ke pee lo, gender sensitivity, because we have so many other genders who are available. We can call them other genders or third genders, but they are very important part of the society as we are. So it's never about male and female, it's all about all the genders.
Both, ma'am. So, ma'am, gender bias training is like it's all about all genders, not only male, female, right?
Yeah, it's called gender sensitivity training. And why sensitivity training? Because we include all the parts of genders where people can be a little sensitive about. For example, a very basic example. Some of the organizations or people or maybe HR people are also not aware that third gender को कौन सा toilet use करना चाहिए, male वाला or female वाला, or there should be a third toilet totally for them. So inclusion says that you need to provide complete facilities for each and every employee whosoever is there in your organization. There are people who look like male, but they do not really have those male body parts, or they not have that inclinations to use those toilets where the males are going, because their inclination or the way they feel is more like a woman, right? So that is what. So for example, a very good movie. So this Chandigarh Karyashiki, the new movie which has come, I'm not sure whether you've seen this or not. If you've not seen this, it actually clarifies the basic difference of this transgender thing very beautifully. Not even going into the complexities, a very light-hearted movie, बहुत हंसी मजाक में very in fun way. They actually tell you the difference between what gender sensitivity is all about. Right? So there are so many complexities related to that. Similar thing is for the disabled people. So now you have given that you have an equal opportunity employer. You say that you have involved a lot of people who are from disabled organizations, or sorry, disabled cultural orientation. Now you have included everything, you have those policies, but the moment, I think I share this example in some class here in this, but in this classroom, maybe in some other classroom, I don't remember. So where what we did was, there was an organization where I was heading HR, right? And the policies manual, I was just very recently joined, maybe I think 15th 16th day of mine in the organization, and I read the manual, and it says that it is an equal opportunity employer, so we can actually hire disabled people in the organization. There were two more directors who were involved with me in the interview process, and we hired this operations manager who had a minor disability in his leg and he used to use wheelchair. We hired this person. Now everything is done. Offer letter was given. This person was finalized. He had to join the organization on the day of induction. And what happens on the day of induction? A very big mistake which we all did. We did not even look into the entire physical structure of the organization, which is the premises. We did not have the facility where the wheelchair could actually be come into the entrance. What happened was there was a staircase and that's all, nothing else. The lift also was installed after they had to come across after those staircases. Right? So not really too many steps, the 7 steps, but then it was a problem. Now what happened? This person was feeling so ashamed to join our organization on a very first day. What we had to do is the security guards had to publicly pull him up on his wheelchair on till that time. But it was seriously a very bad example, and I felt very responsible because without knowing whether this person, or without even actually looking into the details, that we are an equal opportunity, but we do not have the facilities available. So what the inclusion says, that there should be a proper facility for everybody whosoever is being given an opportunity to work in the organization. So not just toilets, a proper staircase, a proper way of for pulling in the wheelchair, maybe a third toilet for disabled people because they cannot use the normal toilets. So all these things has to be taken care in mind when we are using it, or when we are bringing in somebody in the organization. So inclusion is totally all about that. Correct?
Like, let me give you one example. Or
Yes, please.
the one who is disabled in our company, he is using that Baishakhi to walk. He cannot walk actually. So the rubber which is there in bottom of the Baisakhi, that is actually he slipped 2-3 times. He has fallen down because the sticker which we are using in the floor to open the door. That is a sticker, floor sticker. To open the door and close the door, it shows how. So he fall down 2-3 times because of the sticker was so glossy.
Correct. So there was a slippery.
Yes. So we changed it, and we have replaced it with matte one. So
correct. So that's what very good example. So this is how the smallest of the things needs to be taken care of if you are calling yourself an inclusive employer, right? So that is what we as an HR. So I'm giving you my own example where we failed to basically imply whether the things are being installed in the organization or not in a proper manner. And after that, we made very quick changes. We got the premises done in a manner that it was looking more welcoming to the people. Imagine the feeling of that person. Every time I talk about this, that emotional, tornado actually I go through again. And what is the kind of feeling this person would be feeling at standing at the gate and there was nobody to welcome him like that, right? So that's the kind of feeling. So see, when we talk about equality, it doesn't talk about these things, that the fairness and justice to all these people should be given in a proper manner so that they are really, really an important part of the society. Right? Similar things happens with women in most of the cases, right? That is the reason why women were not given an opportunity. I was actually reading about one of these women, who was a freedom fighter also. 113 years back, she was the one who actually started the school for girls, right? And how do you think that she would be given a welcome by the male counterparts?
Not so welcoming, like क्या पत्थर वत्थर मारना ये सारी चीजें.
Correct. Same thing happened. So when she used to go from her home to the school, when she used to walk in a sari, people used to throw all kind of garbage, all kind of stones on her. Right? And she used to always carry another sari in her bag. She used to go to the school because she was the principal, and she used to change the sari and then go to the classrooms to teach. Right? So she took this, and there was a very beautiful thing which was written at the end of this story, that amongst all those people who were throwing garbage and stones, we don't remember their names, we don't remember their faces. The only thing that we remember is that lady who took that courage and started that entire school, and the opportunity for other girl child to come and do that. And imagine 113 years ago, अभी तो हम आज की बात कर रहे हैं, right? अभी तक तो we have not given equal opportunity to women in India even now. Right? So that is the kind of thing, and that is the reason why many organizations are still fighting for this basic gender differentiation and this basic gender inclusion in the society. Do you think that women get the similar kind of equal opportunities in organization?
No, ma'am.
Why do you think that?
Ma'am, because the patriarchal thinking in everyone is something which is not gone, and I don't think so it can be gone that easily. The people talk in nowadays, it rooted very deeply and it can't be removed very easily, so it just.
So you think that reservation for women is also not good?
And I think reservation for women is good, but my thoughts are kind of complicated, because when I start thinking about from women's point of view, sometimes I start thinking about men's point of view, like they are not getting right opportunity. मतलब जैसे कि होता है कि OBC, SC, SC, in these reservations, general people feel like ये गलत हो रहा है और ये सारी चीजें. तो सेम थिंग विद गोज with man and woman. My thoughts are very complicated and I just get confused in myself as well. So yes, ma'am, that's me.
Reservation for women is like, I personally think they should be supported, because somewhere or the other the society thinks us to be a very soft spoken person, and they think us to not to be like, we don't have the quality to become leaders, or we don't have the quality to lead the rest of the people, and this kind of hurts the male ego thing of the society. That is why I think reservation for women is important. Secondly, coming to Srishti's point of reservation for the STs and SCs, so I personally think that government has already provided a lot of amenities to them. So rich people, they already have sufficient money, and the poor, they're getting amenities in the government. So the only section which is left is as the middle class people, we are the only one who's suffering everywhere. So I think reservation is, I don't support reservation for women. Yes, I do, but for the other ways, I don't.
So again, yeah, that's fine. So, because that is how it has been implemented in India. That's why we feel wrong. It's perfectly fine to feel wrong about it, right? But why do you think that? Imagine now if a lady is from social backward class or scheduled caste. We should not be talking about this basically, but okay. Suppose a woman now is there. One, she's a woman. Second, she's from this particular background. Do you think she should get reservation in the organizations or not? Qualified. Yeah.
If she is qualified, then yes, she can be given this offer. I mean, she does not need the reservation policy, but and the reservation should not be given to her on the basis of like her category, like ST or SC.
Okay, let's ask a question to Ruchi. How many people are working in your organization, Ruchi? Total.
135.
How many?
135.
135 people, human beings, right? So out of 135 human beings, how many are women employees?
Ma'am, it's 35 to 40.
Correct. So what is the ratio now?
It's 40%, 35 to 40%.
Less than that, yeah? Because 135 hai na? So 135 में से 35 is approximately 28%.
Yeah,
Correct?
30. Yes, ma'am.
Now, what is the population of India? We are 50%, right? Women are 50% of the total population. And imagine now 50% of population is only getting 20% of chances to come and work in an organization, and 80% chances are given to a privileged male members. So why there should not be a reservation for women in organizations or in general? Purely because we are talking about equity now. We are not talking about equality, just to bring them up on the platform where they become fair, where it becomes look like justice, where it becomes like that they are getting an equal opportunity later on. We have to bring them up a little bit by giving them specific or special reservations or whatever you want to call it.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, by giving this equality or equity, I feel sometimes we are doing injustice with other one. Like, so where this equality or equity is forming, there is no such equality or equity, because if मतलब एक किसी को अगर इक्वालिटी मिल रहा है तो दूसरे किसी के साथ इनइक्वालिटी हो रहा है तभी वो मिल पा रहा है. So there is no such equality. So isn't it complicated to
It
say?
is complicated for sure. See, that is how it has been done for so many years, right? And just to bring some specific strata of society or some specific matlab, maybe a cultural orientation, gender, whatever you want to call it, just to bring them up one ladder so that they can actually see equal opportunities to somebody. For example, you're on the top of a mountain, right? And that male has gone on the top of a mountain because he had a lot of privileges. He never had to take a break in their entire career. They don't have to actually take maternity off. They do not actually go through the pains of menstruation every month. They do not get married and they have to change the family. They do not, first of all, face any problems in getting into the schools. Right now, this person stands on a mountain to become the topper of that. Maybe you can call him a topper of the organization, or you can call him a topper of the country. Right now, there is a woman who has started the journey along with this man, but she faced a lot of problems. Every month, menstruation pains, so she may not have been going to the office, or she may have faced problems in going to the office. Correct? Mood swings obviously is a part of the entire thing. No matter how much we encounter it, but mood swings happens. That's a normal hormonal changes that is a woman goes through. Then a maternity, obviously. Then you have to take a 6 months break, which is minimum because you have to breastfeed the child. Then obviously getting married, before breastfeeding or child, getting married, because you don't have choices of getting married to one specific person, so you get married to according to the choices of your parents, and you might have to leave your job and shift to another country or city or any other thing. So that means that also is a break, right? So now with all these things, and then after that also, you are also working in an organization, similar hours as a man, but you have to cook. You have to provide to your family. If somebody is sick in your family, you are the first one who has to be taken a leave or have to look after those people. And now still you're standing on that mountain. You are also applying that I want to become the topper of the world or topper of the country. Who do you think should get more privilege or more reservation?
Obviously, ma'am, women.
Correct? So that is what the equity is all about. That somebody who had faced problems in terms of reaching wherever they are and still they are getting that opportunity, that means we should give them a little bit support, little bit help, little bit fairness, so that they can actually become a part of the entire group. Yeah, things. Do you think all the married female who were working at one point of time in an organization or have taken a break because of maternity or because of getting married are not skilled or equally qualified to come back to the job? They are, right? And that is the reason why many organizations are taking diversity purely in the gender. अभी बेशक अभी आप देखो एक और एग्जांपल है, हार्दिक सर ने एक ग्रुप में ट्वीट शेयर किया है by somebody purely talking about diversity in the manner of gender, men and women. That's it. So most of the organizations are talking about this thing only, and they understand that, and it's not their fault because most of the world is talking about that, right? But now it has gone beyond men and women. Women have actually come up to a level in many of the organization because of the support of the male members, obviously, from their home, from their families, from the offices, also in their organization, and that's how they have taken up this responsibility of becoming a leader in the organization also. But we cannot get away from the fact that they face more problems. And the similar way, other people that we are talking about from other gender, other races, other physical disabilities, all these people also follow various kind of challenges in terms of for reaching the stage where they are. That is the reason why reservations have been given. Purely, the reservation system started purely because of that. Right? So this is the entire thing about it. You want to take 5 minutes break and come back? I think we've already crossed the time. Yeah. So take a 5 minutes break. It's 7:22. Let's 7:23. Let's join back by 7:28. Then we'll continue the class.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. See you.
Okay.
Okay. Right, so far we talked about the complexities and other things. Let's talk about the benefits. Why a good inclusion system or good diversity and inclusion policy can do for the organization. Right. So number one is it can bring different perspectives. Right. So I'm not sure how. I actually don't remember which video I sent to you guys. So different perspectives in the sense that people from various background, specifically people like we are talking about people from LGBTQ background, people from disabled background. Imagine now these people joining the workforce, right? And then there is a normal human being which has gone through the normal routine of educational systems and everything. Now, when we want to bring in variety of different perspectives into the entire system of the organization, and we do not include all those people. So, do you think that different kind of creativity and other things will be part of the organization? Right? That's when we miss. Imagine we keep hiring the similar background of people. For example, let's just take this example कि IIM के ही सारे बंदे हमने organization में रखना शुरू कर दिया. All the people we are giving privilege to IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, Calcutta, all these people only we are hiring in an organization. Now these people are privileged in the sense that they are already cream of the society and they have given that kind of a privilege also now in an organization. They have actually gone through the similar background of problems. They have solved the problem in a similar manner. The way they have been handling the situations also would be similar to each other. Correct? Now, if we have some people from B or C grade institutions, it can be good institutions like, there are so many more IILMs, ले लो आप, बहुत सारे हैं, MET, not MET, a lot of other institutions which are there. So now these institutions, now you have start hiring people from there. Now these people have a different background altogether. The way they have been struggling to get into good colleges, their financial status, maybe they are from middle class families. They have seen different kind of problems and challenges, and they have learned from their own parents and society to solve these problems. Correct? So their problem solving would be very different from the people who have already been privileged all through their life and have been given an opportunity served in a plate of platter. Correct? So you think two different kind of stratas will bring different perspectives in an organization, hence the problem solving would be much better. Right? That is the reason why we talk about inclusion, because people coming from different backgrounds altogether, their upbringing, the way their parents have given them upbringing, the way their nurturing has happened in the society in terms of their friends and family, the schools, that colleges they have attended, and their own struggles in their life actually makes them the personality that they are, and hence they bring different kind of perspectives. They can actually bring in different kind of solutions, can be faster solutions for helping the organization in terms of bringing in solutions to challenges that the organization face. Then increase creativity. Obviously the similar thing, people from varied background brings different kind of creativity into the system. People who are transgenders are very, very creative. That is the reason why you will see them into fashion designing, creative media, all these places much more, because their left side of brain is much more creative. Left side is works really best, and that is the reason why they are into these kind of an organizations, right? That is the reason why creativity should be given an importance in an organization, and it can only help the organization in terms of their growth. Now imagine thinking about a company like Tata, large group in India, right? Very, very large group, varied kind of organization, total diversity in their business and everything. Now imagine they start hiring people only from one particular criteria. Do you think that these organizations will ever be able to grow to the level that they are right now? It
No, ma'am.
won't, right? So that is the reason and difference between the organizations who remain small because of their small thinking in terms of not having proper diversity and inclusion in place, and larger organizations generally give much more better opportunities, and they actually, true to the word, become equal opportunity employers. Then higher innovation. So now creativity and innovation for me goes hand in hand. A lot of organizations like that actually gives opportunity. So India may you will see now these TikToks and Instagram reels have given an opportunity to people to actually have that phone in their hand, and so that they can create a lot of material, a lot of content. And all this content you will see has a lot of jugars that they talk about. In fact, in my entrepreneurial training program, I only show those videos where people have done so many better जुगाड़. एक ने जूते के डब्बे का मोबाइल चार्जर स्टैंड बनाया है, so different kind of things. One has created कूड़े के डब्बे में से he used to take out all those nails and everything, and he has created a robot out of those nails and all those kooda that we actually throw. So different kind of creativity and innovation you will see from the people who do not have privileges, right? And that's the reason why they are given so many opportunities. See so many Instagram reels, not these dance ones, but there are other ones where people actually show. In fact, there is a group also which talks about jugars of India, something like that. So here people have shown their innovation and creativity in terms of things which are available handy or which we discard in our homes and in organizations, and they have created something out of it. Right? So that is the reason why people should be given much more benefit, much more inclusion to these people, is purely because they know that under a normal circumstance, we all can be innovative. But without having those circumstances and the material and things available, still we can become innovative is a totally different kind of ballgame altogether. Faster problem solving, we have already talked about. Decision making, faster, obviously it goes, because when you have different people brainstorming at one point in time, talking from various challenges, different kind of background coming together, decision making becomes much more faster. Increased profits, same thing, because if you are from different backgrounds, you bring different solutions to the problems, faster solutions happens, better decision making is happening, that means your increased profits is obviously happening. Higher employee engagement, because there are different level of people available and involved in the organizations, then employee engagement is obviously much more higher. People are talking about more creative stuff, they are not gossiping, just not having smoke breaks and talking on coffee machines. Reduced employee turnover, because if you are creating an inclusive workplace, then people will not want to leave the organization because they are getting all other benefits also. Right? So that's all about the benefits. Then obviously company reputation increases, that's what people are talking about. That's why most of the organizations are opening up to the whole idea of diversity, equity and inclusion, is because their reputation is at stake. There are, in Western worlds, organizations are doing much more than just talking about the policies. The action orientation and implementation is much better, and that is the reason many outside organizations are given much more opportunities. Then improving hiring results. Obviously, as an HR, our major pain point is hiring. And when we are talking about hiring and we do not look into the skill set of the people who come from varied backgrounds, then obviously it's a problem, right? The skill set that we are looking at, if we are only looking at that skill set in two genders, male and female, we might not get it. There are other people who are available and you can easily get those skill set out there. So our we should be using binoculars for doing hiring so that the entire pictures opens up in front of us. Right? We should be able to hire from varied backgrounds. So now there is a research which is being done by many organizations. It is so I just wanted to share it with you. So Glassdoor, I'm not sure whether you are aware about this. So Glassdoor is a similar kind of platform like Facebook. Here people can actually share their own experiences of working in an organization, and they can share whether they really liked working in an organization or not. So Glassdoor के अंदर people have found that 67% of job seekers said a diverse workforce is important when considering job offers. Right? 1.7 times, Josh Bersin research shows that inclusive companies are 1.7 times more likely to be the innovation leaders in the market. BCG, which is a consulting organization, as well as they keep doing a lot of surveys, It's a research organization. It shows that companies that have more diverse management teams have 19% higher revenues. McKinsey, again, the similar kind of an organization like PCG, in consultancy and research, it shows that racially and ethnically diverse companies outperform industry norms by 35%. So, not the smaller percentages that can actually create a change in the society and then obviously in organizations when we talk about these things. Right? So, what you and I can do as an HR in an organization is hire for diversity. How? You can increase incidents and best practices in your organizations, where you can actually talk about that these are the people who are available in your organization, these are the people you have given support to, and you have given a complete inclusion to them. Then you can create good systems in organization. It's very important that we all see that there is a gap which exists, but then whether we are welcoming that change in an organization is a totally different ballgame altogether. Sometimes you have to fight, sometimes as an HR you have to create that kind of a policy, sometimes you have to put across and push people in terms of whether what you are believing or what you are talking about is actually correct. So being HR is not really just about, see, even then, a very important example I'll show you. Right? All of you were doing this exercise, which Hardik just shared with me on these KPI things. He actually wanted me to go ahead and take that KPI classes together. So I said I don't want to interfere in his topic because he is completing that. Now imagine all those segments that you have chosen to write KPIs about. None of you ever talked about diversity and inclusion as a part of HR, though it is very clearly mentioned in the course and syllabus also. Why we are not talking about that? So as an HR, what should be your KPIs if you are talking about diversity, equity and inclusion? How do you bring equality in organization? How do you bring that inclusion in organization? What should you be doing? And how do we measure your KPIs?
Ma'am, we can add this point in recruitment and selection, and by that we can see how much percentage of diverse people an HR is hiring.
Okay, that's a good thing. What else you can do? इंटरनेट खोल के रिसर्च करने लगोगे, है ना? गूगल बाबा की जय हो. It's okay. You can always look into the examples. See, the more research you do, the more inspirations you get to find out the better solution. So, Google Baba is actually Google Baba because it helps all of us. People who are not aware, people who don't know, it really creates an opportunity for them to at least know what is there and what is not. Right? But then don't let your creativity or your innovation go purely because you're copy pasting from Google. Okay, so we do this slide and then this slide will give you a much better opportunity or option to think about whether what kind of KPIs or what kind of quantifiable ratings you can actually give to your KPIs in diversity and inclusion. So number one is these are the actionable strategies which are being done by many organizations in terms of when we are talking about DE&Y, diversity sourcing, which like Srishti said that you can actually become very open towards the idea of bringing in people in the organization for recruitment and selection from various things. So this is an example of varied kind of organization because it's not really necessary that you will be working for an Indian organization. There are chances that you can work for multinational organization. So how multinational organization creates policy for recruitment and diversity sourcing is totally different from how we actually perceive it and see it. Right? Like I said, in India, still we are very much stuck for women and men, but outside organizations, because their challenges are totally different, then that is the reason why they include all these things. So for example, Boolean search strings जैसे हमने बनाना सीखा था, so in Boolean search strings you can specifically write the phrases like Black, Latino, disabled, women in IT, or LGBTQ. Right? So these phrases will help you find out the right kind of skill set that you're looking in from these groups of people. Right? So that's way you are giving it much more better attention than the normal sourcing is. There are chances when you are doing normal sourcing that these people may not get highlighted, but when you are specifically writing in the inverted commas about these things, then obviously there are chances that these people will come across to you. So even if it's a very slight percentage, they are lower in terms of their qualification or percentage or any other things, but they have the skill set. That means you can train them and they can actually become. So now women in IT की बात करते हैं, right? So how many women in IT are there in India in many organizations? Anamika is doing hiring for IT. So what kind of, how many women do you actually find? Percentage, male to women ratio. कितना difference आता है? For a position, how many male candidates apply and how many women in IT applies? Ruchi has already shared that example, right?
Ma'am, 10%.
कितना percent?
10 or less than 10.
10% or less than that? Who said that? Akriti or Vishakha?
Yes, ma'am, Akriti.
Akriti. Okay. How do you say that 10% only?
Ma'am, please repeat again.
Sorry?
Ma'am, I couldn't hear you properly.
I said, how do you know only 10% women apply? How do you get to know about this percentage?
Ma'am, I heard somewhere.
Okay. Right, so there is a huge difference. So why I asked this question from Anamika is because she is sourcing currently for IT organizations, right? And on a daily basis, when we see or apply for a position, we actually post about a job posting for an organization, the number of male members is higher than the women. Why? Because after class 12th, how many people actually prefer to send their daughters to IITs? The percentage in there itself is very low. Imagine in school, toppers are women. पिछले 20-25 साल से this is what is going on, right? 10th and 12th toppers, majority in India is women, in the girls. Right? Now these toppers do not get an opportunity to go to IITs or IIMs or top institute. Purely because their parents do not want to send them to hostels, they do not want them to qualify, they do not want to, I don't know what are the reasons, right? Every family has different. But imagine a topper in the school is not been given an opportunity to go ahead. Correct? So that's one level of opportunity that is reduced. IIT ke andar now how many women are there in one classroom? Very poor ratio. Amongst every 20, 10 male members, I think there would be one or less than that. Right? So in a classroom of 40, 50 students, there would be only one or two women. That's it. Right? Similar thing in IIMs. IIMs में अब जाके थोड़ा ratio बढ़ रहा है पिछले 5-10 सालों में. Before that, it was as bad as it was. When I did it, we were just 3 women in a classroom full of 43 members. So imagine that, right? So this is the kind of ratio which is going on. So now when you are talking about women in IT specifically being hired for a position, that means there are women who are there, out there, they have struggled hard to reach to a level, where they are currently. Why not support them a little bit, give them more training, and then you can include them in the entire system if you're not getting that right skill set in male members who are available. Right? So that's how, what about actionable strategies you can put in diversity sourcing. Now, diversity focused job fairs. Now, job fairs you can actually put across in diversity focuses that you can specifically go to women colleges, you can actually go to disabled institutions and organizations like Accenture hires from us, from not us, Sarthak educational institutions. When we give a lot of trainings to these people, so we give free trainings to poor people who are from disabled background as well as poor. We give them training and we make them trainable in 3 basic areas: hotel management, which is hospitality, retail management, and general FMCG jobs, right, which can easily be done, where you do not need specific skills to perform that kind of a job. So, Being Human, Salman Khan's organization hires from there. Not all Being Human stores all over India hires from Sarthak institution as well. Many of our students are placed in their organization. Then Vishal Mega Mart, Accenture, as I already said, Converges is also becoming now. So these are the organizations which we know. I know in tips because these people keep coming to us for very kind of people that they require, right? So these diversity focused job fairs, in the sense that, like, I said कि women colleges में ज़्यादा चले जाते हैं, वहाँ से हम hire कर लेते हैं. So for example, you have a hospital you want to run, right? For that hospital to run, you go to a women nursing college. India में तो खैर है ही women nursing colleges major. Again, now that there the diversity is totally different. Even if a male has that skill or interest to become a nurse, he or he cannot become a nurse in India. क्यों? Because our society has created that kind of fear, because our society has created that kind of a stigma that a male cannot be a nurse. You will finally very rare examples. So when we are talking about diversity and inclusion, it is not just one way, it goes other way also. Right now, suppose there is a man who does not like to go out and handle the corporate jobs. He does not like to go out, he cannot handle, he does not have that problem solving, decision making skills. Without those skills, do you think he or he can actually become a very good employee in any organization? He won't. On the other hand, his wife has all those skills. She's also working, but this man do not want to work, but still he's going on to a job. Imagine his mental status. Imagine the kind of mental health he would be in, purely because the society has not given him a permission. That's much, that's so. Most of the problems in our society in India is not because of the government policies and rules. It's more about societal policies, norms, and pressures that we keep getting. Right? So लड़कियों को IIT नहीं भेजना, मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर नहीं बनाना, all these things are basically society rules, which has been going on for so many years. It will take some more push, it will take some more glass ceiling breaking, and then it will come out to be that, right? Millennials सब कर रहे हैं ऐसा. People of your generation is actually breaking so many things right now.
Ma'am, once in KBC, one couple came.
Sorry?
Once in KBC, Kaun Banega Crorepati, one couple came, in which the female was going for job and the male was handling the household work, everything. Like
Yeah, so I don't think there should be any point where they should feel ashamed of. I never feel ashamed about this thing. When I had my child, I was at a very high stature in an organization where it was very difficult for me to leave the organization. So we had to take a decision who will take care of the child, because we did not have anybody else. It was my husband who took a break for a year. He said, I'll take a break, I'll take care of him, you travel and you do the work, because my traveling was very high. So he was a house husband for one complete year. And whatever I am very thankful that he did that decision. So I never felt ashamed. He never felt ashamed. Society had his pressure, its pressure. Family were talking about it, his family, my family were talking about it. But we had to do what we had to do. And we never felt ashamed after that. And that is the reason why our son has got all those skill set. He loves to cook in the kitchen. He loves to wash clothes. He loves to do all that household work. Plus, he's a man. Whether he likes to play basketball, he likes to go out, he likes to do all the things that a boy would love. Right? So all those skills, all those because these are life skills, and that can be imbibed into anybody, that can be instilled into anybody purely the way you are actually giving nurturing. It has nothing to do with the society, right? Satyamev Jayate used to be a program. Amir Khan used to do that. He had actually worked across all these points that we are talking about, right? From diversity, from LGBTQ people, from different sexual orientation, all those things. Wonderful program. It talked about so many things like that. And that is what actually the society should be working towards now. Coming back to this, so diversity focused job fairs and another strategy that we can implement. Then university graduate diversity association, so you can actually put across different kind of alumni associations with universities and colleges, where you can promote your job ads, where you want to hire different kind of people altogether. I think the brightness is gone on my computer. Okay, and then employee referrals, obviously. So one of the very quick way of hiring or bringing in good kind of diverse workforce in the organization is you can actually ask people to recommend people from different kind of background altogether, and then you can award or give them referral bonuses for people that they have brought in the organization. Right? Now there are organizations, how they actually hire people in the organization is they bring a diverse interview panel. So it's not just about hiring people. If you do not have a diverse interview panel, that means they cannot ask the right kind of questions. You and I may not know what kind of questions to be asked to a disabled. Or we may not know LGBTQ को क्या पसंद है क्या नहीं. People for various different ethnicity, what kind of question we should not be asking them. So we don't know. Right? HR does a lot of mistakes in terms of asking questions in interview. One question is asked by for to a woman is, being a woman also I've seen many women asking this question, कब आपकी शादी हो रही है? And are you planning to get married? You're married, so that means you're planning to have a child. Why do you ask such personal questions to a person you are hiring and bringing in the organization? You can always tell them about your policy that we do not hire people who go on maternity leave immediately after joining the organization, because maternity ka paisa dena is a pain point to every employer, especially in India. And it's not really their fault. There are many women who also does that. 2-3 महीने job करने के लिए आ जाते हैं and then they take a break and say that they are on maternity. Right? So organizations can have a cure for those things by bringing in the diverse interview panel who have the sensitivity of asking questions in a different manner altogether. So there's the entire experience of bringing in people through interview or through various tests should not look or go bad. Then आता है आपका diversity training for recruiter. So first our recruiter should be trained for diversity training, फिर HRs, and then the other organization. So it's very important that people who are bringing in the right kind of people, different kind of people, they should be given this thing, because like bachpan se abhi, like so many problems we are talking about, so we have those stereotypes, we have that stigma in our mind that we should not be hiring people from LGBTQ. Now people have various problems कि वो transgender है तो मैं उससे बात भी नहीं करूँगा. Right? So there is a guy I'm healing currently and he is a gay. He is facing these problems because he's a gay. Right? So these people have this kind of problems which society can never deal with. Society people really face ashamed to talk about these issues, and I don't know the reason why. It is not directly harming them. It is not creating any problem for them. And this one criteria that people who are transgender or homosexuals, suddenly in India, I don't know how it has been decided, who decided this, it's a mental problem. It can be cured. Right? So many people are talking about that. It is not, it is a orientation. And orientations actually are developed through our childhood, the way we are born. Right? If you being a woman like a man, that's your orientation. If you being a woman like a woman, that's again your orientation. So you cannot decide, I cannot decide it, the society cannot decide it. It is by birth, that is the way we are being designed. And we cannot fight with the one who has designed us that way. It's not really a mental. You will hear these things. Organizations may be, society may be, ghar par bhi. So diversity training for recruiter means removing all those prejudices, removing all those stereotypes, removing all those stigmas that is associated with one particular race or ethnicity or cultural orientation, so that we do not bring in different kind of problems in the organization. Then blind hiring practice. So India ke bahar, it's a very popular method of blind hiring practice in terms of where people do not ask about their genders. They do not talk about their nationality. They do not talk about their ethnicity. They just talk about what kind of skill set that you have, what kind of qualifications you have acquired, and then you apply for the jobs. Right? So that's called blind hiring practice, which will take time for India, but again, it's a very good practice. So you will never know. As a recruiter, when the CV is coming to you, you won't know whether he or she is a female or a male. You won't know what kind of ethnicity they are from. You won't know what kind of background there is. There is no name. Only one first name is written, so you don't know the caste also of that person. So that biases will not come. India के अंदर ये भी बहुत होता है. In an organization, अच्छा वो शर्मा जी हैं और मैं भी शर्मा जी हूँ, so let's call him or her for the interview. No? So that's a very, very peculiar, what do you call it, bias that we bring in with us. And it comes naturally. It should not come as a recruiter. Imagine अब सारे डॉक्टर्स अग्रवाल डॉक्टर सिर्फ अग्रवाल को ही क्योर करने लगे तो it will not work, right? So this is what we have to ensure, that diversity has to come. So now these are the biases that we are talking about. So biases can come from age, can come from gender, can come from ethnicity, and come from race. और भी आते हैं, but these are major ones. So how you can actually remove these biases? I'll share again. Yeah. So how you can actually remove these biases? You can actually have leadership involvement in organization. So many organizations believe that when you train your leadership in a proper manner, people who are actually the core pillars of the organization, then these people can actually take care of the entire thing in the organizations. These people, if trained well, they know the culture and vision of the organization really well, they can ensure that diversity at all levels is happening. Then these people can assign a top executive to lead or sponsor diversity programs. So many organizations have diversity committees, diversity programs that they run entire year, which ensures that the organizations are being inclusive and giving equal opportunities to every person whosoever comes in the company. Then many organizations also appointing a chief diversity and equality officers. When they create committees, when they create these programs, so there is a separate officer for these organizations. Right? Tata has, Vodafone has, Philip also has. So these are few companies who have these kind of things. So they may not call them chief diversity officer, but they have somebody who takes care of the entire thing. The name and position can differ. Now, creating a diversity council or committee, like I already said, that a committee or council is being created in an organization, very similar to employee engagement, cultural committees, and all those committees. And then they ensure that the committee is actually working exactly in the manner that the objectives are talking about. So they create a complete objectives, then they work on those things, and they design actionable things that they have to do in the entire year. And then at the end of the year, the committee sits together and see how many percentage that they have acquired of diverse people in the organization. So many organizations can have diverse goals. For example, 9% women or higher karenge sal. That can be one of the KPIs, right, in recruitments for related to D and Y. Then you can actually talk about bringing in a specific strata of people in the organization, that at least 1% reservation I'll give to disabled people, right? So that is the kind of thing that you can talk about. And then the recruiters and the people who are involved in the entire program, their KPIs can be whether they have hired that 1% of the total workforce of the organization from disabled or not, right? So that's how you can design and work around your KPIs. And that can be the goal for these committees to work across the entire year. Then आ जाता है आपका second part, which is policies and programs. Now many organization design different kind of policies and process कि हम diversity में करेंगे, inclusion में करेंगे. Like I just gave you an example that Hardik sir shared. I thought he shared in the group, but he shared to me on my WhatsApp. He shared an example where an organization is actually putting effort in terms of bringing people, bringing women only in the organization who left their job because of maternity leaves. Right? So that's a very good point that he made, but it is only for the gender thing. Many organizations have started special programs where they want to bring in back the women who are specialized in specific skill set. Like Shiro's is one company which is started by very dear friend of mine, and she actually runs this organization where she gives and opens opportunity for women who were on break and then they want to come back, and she offers them similar amount of money which they should be getting. It's not less, because generally what happens in organization is if you are on a break for 2 years, 3 years, you will be given less amount as a salary or remuneration. But then she ensures that the organization that she is working with, they give an opportunity, and that opportunity is equal opportunity. That means purely on the basis of your skill set and your merit, you will be given salaries also. So these kind of policies and procedures are very, very important, not just in the form of written, but the implementation part is also should be given importance to. So number one, it talks about is add diversity and inclusion amongst your company values. That if you want to call yourself an equal opportunity employer, diversity and inclusion should be one of your core values of the organization. Second is add diversity and inclusion in your company's mission and vision. Hardly any companies are there which do that. Companies who have done that have got much more better reputation in the market. They have got much more better profitability in the market. This example I've already shared with you. So create and implement anti-discrimination policy. Very important. Because हम diversity के लिए बात कर लेते हैं, we talk about inclusion, we bring people in, but if we do not have the right kind of policy, for example, अब women और men वाला केस लेके चलते हैं, right? You have men and women in organization, but you do not have posh as a policy in your organization. So without posh क्या होगा? Posh, you know what is it? Prevention of sexual harassment policy in the organization. So after that Nirbhaya Kand, it was there since long time, but after Nirbhaya in 2012, it became mandate for every organization to have a posh policy and ensure that women's safety and security is an utmost important, should be given utmost importance, so that no woman should feel unsafe working in an organization. Because when we are talking about this gender diversity and inclusion in the organization, many women do not go to job purely because they have been facing sexual harassment in the organizations, either through their immediate supervisor, their peer, or anybody else in the organization. Right? I think approximately 19% women leave their job not because of maternity and marriage, but purely because of sexual harassment they have faced at any point in time. Right? 37 cases I have handled in my entire career for sexual harassment, right, till the time I was there. So many things will come up, and 37 is very low number. The number of sexual harassment that happens in an organization is much, much more than that. Now it has reduced. Last 4-5 years have actually turned around a lot of things in organizations, and things have reduced. So when we'll talk about POSH tomorrow as a part of D&I. उसी का ही पार्ट है ये पॉश के बारे में. We will do it tomorrow, but we should be aware about that. There is nothing to be scared of in posh, because what happens is most of the time women employee only takes back their complaints. I tell you one case very strangely. What happened was, she came to me. I was the HR head for the organization, and I was a part of the committee also for there is a committee which we create for posh. So these committee members has to, if a complaint comes, these committee members sit together and then they find out a solution, what needs to be done. So she came to us. She was very brave, very courageous, because many women do not actually take that courage and come. She did that. She gave a written complaint. It was an immediate supervisor, the boss that she was reporting to, and this person showed her some porn in the office, right, on his mobile phone. So she complained about that, and we were forming the committee. It took one day to form the committee, call everybody, all the 7 members sat together when we were planning to do. So as a part of the entire procedure, what we have to do is we have to call both the parties and then take their statements individually. So the man came, he gave his version, then the woman was called again, and what she said was, ki nahi, it was misunderstood by me, he actually was sharing something else, and that's all. So first she did that courage to complain, and then she actually completely went hostile about the entire thing. So that can also happen, and that's not her fault. The way the system is being designed, because most of the organization have created this particular example of letting the woman employee go out of the organization in at some or the other pretext. So not immediately, they won't say कि इस वजह से निकाल रहे हैं, but within a month or two, most of the women employee would be asked to leave the organization, because 99% of the cases are that people who are regular sexual offenders, people who actually do sexual harassment on women, are generally the star of the organizations. They have the power. They are always bringing good profit in the organizations. So maximum organizations do not let them go. इसका एक बहुत अच्छा example, I think Fanish Murthy was one of the examples. Yeah, I think his name was Fanish Murthy. Very big name. You can read about him in internet. He was being asked to leave the organization after the third sexual offense he did. Right? He was the CTO of the organization at that point in time. He left the organization, he joined some other organization outside India. He again repeated the same incident there also. He was again asked to leave that organization. So some people are like that, and it is just one of the examples which got highlighted. There are many more. So this Me Too movement which started, it was purely for this around posh only, the people who face sexual harassment. But good that we have this policy, good that we have this act now in action. It actually ensures that women are safe, but you have to show some of the other courage to handle that.
We have this policy, ma'am. We are also maintaining same.
Yeah. So as a part of the policy, gender sensitivity training is very important to give to all the employees. So gender sensitivity, keep informing the employees that even if you are sharing some non-veg joke or sexual oriented joke or porn or any such things you are creating or commenting on a woman, is basically considered as sexual harassment.
Yes.
Again, इसके बहुत सारे pros and cons है. People can actually talk about now. Media company के अंदर it's a very common thing. People share these kind of jokes. I'm giving an example of media company because I've seen that. So here I was giving a training on gender sensitivity, and these girls said कि मैम ये तो हमारा रोज का काम है. मतलब they are so mixed up, not really that, but they are so mixed up कि उनके अंदर porn दिखाना या non-veg jokes share करना, it's like a friends. So they do not believe in that gender differentiation at all. It's a very open culture. Most of the advertising media companies would be like that. Right? They smoke together, they go for drinks together. So that is the kind of culture, and that's the kind of way that they have. So they said, then how can we consider? Right? For them, then you have to showcase the another part of it, which goes beyond all these things, which is like unusual touch. Somebody is actually groping you, somebody is actually asking you to wait for in the organization in the later hours. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं इसके अंदर. So we'll talk about it in details tomorrow. But that's what it is. So your policies and procedures, in the sense that everything is there in terms of diversity and inclusion, but how much is the implementation which is being done? Right? So most of the people think that women are not really that profitable in the organization, so they ask the woman employee to leave the organization even after the complaint has been done. So then आता है आपका education and training, very important. So you have good leadership involvement, you have good policy and procedure, but अगर उसके बारे में education नहीं है to the employees, it gets very difficult to train people. Right? So first thing is education. That means they should know each and everything which is available in the organization in terms of diversity, and then regular trainings. So this is not just one-time training that you are done, it's a tick mark. It has to be a regular affair. Every quarter, at least one training, and every time an onboarding and induction is happening, at that point in time also you are bringing in this issue as a part of the training. So now you can see that first point is for unconscious bias or sensitivity training. So it's very important that sensitivity training should be given, It's not just gender sensitivity training, there are other sensitivity training which can be included, where we talk about the biases and prejudices we have for various kind of stratas. So India के बाहर जैसे black लोगों के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा चलता है, the racial biases, right? So they have that kind of thing, that unconscious bias है. Something, for example, I was watching a very good program. It is based on criminals and all those things. So he was talking about the policeman was white guy, the American, and he said no matter how much we are trained, but पहली बार जब कोई crime होता है ना, so if there are two suspects, one white and one black, हमारा दिमाग always goes towards the black one, right? So that is an unconscious bias that happens, and without education and training, it cannot be removed from the system. Right. So Japan does a very beautiful thing in terms of their education system itself. From a very childhood, they start giving these trainings of unconscious bias and sensitivity. So उससे क्या होता है? When a child is 3 years old, he is getting involved into these kind of training. That means their biases बनेंगे ही नहीं कभी. So all these things will never happen. Second आ जाता है education and training में organize diversity and inclusion workshops. So not just trainings, now you can change them into a development workshops where you can actually talking about. For example, if you are promoting somebody to a manager position, individual tha manager जा रहा है, make them a part of the, so that they have to go through this diversity and inclusion workshop to become a manager. Because when you're managing people, your team can comprise of various kind of people. So as a part of the people management skill, it's very important that they should be aware about what are the things involved into diversity and inclusion. Then organize training on teamwork and collaboration. So in every organization, when you're talking about in these terms, terminologies like teamwork and collaboration, diversity and inclusion should be a part of it. Right? Because team kaise banegi? From diverse people, and diverse people from different cultural orientation come together with various biases, various kind of orientations, and then you have to give them a training on these things, right? So examples भी ऐसे बनाने चाहिए, पूरा system इस तरीके से create करना चाहिए that collaboration can come from anybody. Then offer conflict resolution education. Now a lot of conflicts also arises because if you're hiring people from diverse background, different conflicts also arises. So that training on conflict resolution and education is very, very important. फिर लास्ट आ जाता है आपका retention and development. So how do you retain these people? When you start implementing professional development programs, from training to creating a good professional out of them, removing all these prejudices and biases, and then make them go through this entire system in a proper manner, then it helps in development for a longer period of time. Second is offer diversity focused mentoring program. So if you feel that some people are really good otherwise in terms of their bringing productivity, their profitability, cultural orientation, organization culture को अच्छे से वो करने में, all these things are really good, but they don't follow just these diversity related issues, that means you can give them mentoring programs where they are being mentored by 1 or 2 people who are part of the diversity committee or council. They can be given different kind of mentoring or coaching. Then create employee resource networking groups. So different networking groups will help you understand that what are the things which goes. So for example, like when before even you join an organization, why not become a part of the LGBTQ groups? Well, there are many LGBTQ groups which are on Facebook, on LinkedIn. So become a part of these groups and understand that what is the problems that they face. Understand that what do they go through. Right? It will give us a very detailed area of what. I did a complete research for approximately 8 months on LGBTQ. So we created a training program. It's a trademark program which we call Gender Blender. Right? So Gender Blender basically talks about why people are not including kids in the educational system. So it's purely for schools and colleges. Right? So why these people are not being given those opportunities. So that research totally talks about that. So when you get involved, see, HR is huge. Sales and marketing can be related to products and services. But because HR is all about people, so people can come from different kind of areas. So to understand them better, it's always good that you do your research, you understand what kind of problems that they can face. So till the time I was not in Sarthak, I hardly knew about the disabilities. What kind of disabilities are there? What kind of people who have very minor disabilities? Ek ungli na hona bhi is a disability, right? So, but how these people can really be effective for the organization can obviously depends upon organization to organization. Right. So when you create networking groups or employee resources group, you can help each other understanding their problems, and then people can have that empathy towards each other and learn. Then track promotion rates of diverse groups. Right. So you can actually track what kind of diverse groups are actually working in an organization, what is the promotion rate, whether they are actually being successful in the organizations or not. It can help develop people more, and it can help retain good number of employees in the organization. Right, so that's all about it. Let's do best practices tomorrow. It's already 8:20. Don't want to hold you for a longer time period. We'll meet you tomorrow. Yes. I'll share a case study in the group. This case study I used in the last group also for HRM. So it's a very small case study, not really very large. It has questions, it has a case, and it has a question related to this thing, and you have to give the solution. Right. So create your own solutions. You want to create a group amongst yourself of 2 to each and then present, you can do that. Or you can individually also do that. Yep.
Thank you, ma'am.
As you suggest.
No, it's your choice. अभी तो बात करें ना, you're adult, so adults should be given more choices and freedom. Right? You cannot be dealing with adult groups like a children group. So, however, it works. See, because some people might face difficulties in terms of forming groups. Right? If you can write your own answer questions, that works really well. So you decide and present. If some of you want to go individual, some of you want to be in group, that also works for me. Okay, not really large case study. Very interesting. And it can teach you a lot of things about this entire issue.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. See you tomorrow at 6:15.